Dear friends, I have the most amazing news. I can barely contain my excitement. We've just won the jackpot, a 1 in a billion prize, the golden ticket, the whole kit and caboodle, something so unique and spectacular that it has no equal. Drum roll, please. Johnny, tell us what we have won. A planet? Earth? Mazel tov! Now, hold on. I hope you are not rolling your eyes in disappointment. Because our world is the greatest gift. From its majestic mountains, forests, oceans, rivers, and lakes, the biodiversity that is in our Earth is unmatched. Mars? No, not for me. Jupiter? No way. Neptune? Brr. No, this relatively small blue marble is indeed 1 in a billion. A trillion. Life as we know it, my friends, is very fragile and needs specific conditions in order to thrive. Too close to our star, the sun, and no good. Too far from our sun, and also no good. Oxygen, yay! Water, woohoo! I'm a big fan. In fact, we inherited this incredible gift with no money down, no security deposit. But as with any prize, there are conditions. When President Theodore Roosevelt championed the designation of the national parks, he said, quote, "We have fallen heirs to the most glorious heritage a people ever received. And each one must do his part if we wish to show the nation is worthy of its good fortune." End quote. An avid outdoorsman, Roosevelt was often more at home in the wilderness than in the political back alleys of Washington. Yet what is evident in his words is that the natural beauty of our world requires each of us to do our part in taking care of it. It is hard to imagine today our country without the national parks. But before Roosevelt lobbied to create them, rampant industrialization was literally raping the land of its resources without regard to conservation or the complete destruction and degradation of the land and its creatures. It is no coincidence that our Torah starts with creation. One God who created it all. One God who owns it. One God who rules it. This profound idea is reaffirmed every week with the celebration of Shabbat. On Shabbat, we not only remember the first creation, but cease from our own creative acts so that we can appreciate the beauty of God's world. We are commanded to rest, and we are commanded to give rest to our workers and our animals. They too are allowed to enjoy God's world. Through our Shabbat observance, we reaffirm that the universe existed before human beings. We did not create this world. We are not the first life form on it, and everything, absolutely everything on this planet has come from atoms and matter that long predates us in the cosmic calendar. Science and religion are in complete agreement. Rosh HaShanah, this most sacred of holidays, is a celebration of the world's birthday. In the rabbinic mind, Rosh Hashanah certainly predates Judaism and humanity itself, since it is the remembrance of this first creation. A date that exists outside a specifically Jewish context. After all, it takes place in the 7th month of the Jewish calendar. Again, it was meant as a universal human acknowledgement of God's creative power and sovereignty, a theme represented throughout the holiday liturgy. On this day, the whole world stands in judgment. We are made to account for how we have lived, the choices we have made. Now this year will also mark the Shemitah, the 7th year of the cycle of rest for the land. Shemitah is a Shabbat for the land. And just like Shabbat, it is a reminder to humanity of God, God's creation, and our place in it. It is a check against human arrogance, superiority, and ownership of this planet. As it says, all of the earth is the Lord's, and everything in it. By letting the earth lie fallow, Shemitah helps restore the vital nutrients and balance that human actions disrupt. The Torah recognizes our impact on the land. It legislates a Shabbat, a stop, a ceasing, for the land, just like the Shabbat we enjoy, that all living things need as a time of rest, healing, and replenishment. In Jewish thought and law, since the earth was created by God, the entire earth itself is owned by God. And as tenants on God's earth, we must not wantonly destroy it, ba'al tashchit, and are in fact positively commanded to be caretakers of it. In Midrash Kohelet Rabbah, we are taught that when God created the first person, he took him and showed him all the trees of the Garden of Eden and said to him, "See my works, how beautiful, praiseworthy they are. And everything that I created it for you. But be careful not to spoil or destroy my world. For if you do, there will be nobody after you to repair it." The Midrash's words of wisdom ring as true today as ever. As a world, we are inching closer to environmental catastrophe caused by our progress, growth, and development. From drought to wildfires, toxic algae blooms to glacial collapse, our climate is in crisis. We are consuming our planet faster than our planet can rejuvenate and replenish itself. With melting Arctic ice, an island of garbage in the Pacific, and the continuing rise of animal extinctions, we are destroying God's masterpieces at an ever-increasing rate. And yet, as Jews, we are eternal optimists. With the wisdom of Shabbat and Rosh HaShanah and Shemitah, we have a sacred path to follow. We believe in the power of tshuva, return, to heal ourselves and point our way forward. We believe we can change the course of our individual lives, and we believe we can change the course of our collective destiny as well. If we have the will, we will find the way. The state of Israel is a great example of how ingenuity and resolve can lead to a better future. Israel is the only country that has more trees today than at the beginning of the 20th century. And through the efforts of the Jewish National Fund, the JNF, and its tree planting initiative, millions of trees have been planted. And today, the JNF is working to create sustainable water solutions for the Negev and manage water more efficiently around the country. Each time I visit Israel, I am continually amazed at how technology is being used and developed to conserve and preserve the land. Israel exports this technology around the world and has been instrumental in teaching green ways of living to farm in Africa and Asia, and literally pulling fresh water from the air itself. We are all in this together. This is a necessary global commitment and a holy effort. Climate change does not recognize borders. But technology is not enough. We must also change the long entrenched ideologies and resulting behaviors to meet our global reality. Our ingenuity must be matched by our individual and collective reform, a change in how we live. If we look at the earth and all that is in it as God's property, then desecrating or destroying it is an affront to God. Our lives are not merely about convenience, but sacred choices, which raise up our behaviors to the level of holy acts. When we commit to throw away fewer single-use plastics, consume energy and disposables more judiciously, and protect land and animals, we are indeed acknowledging our Creator. We must support companies that are making sometimes costly environmental changes and hold accountable those that are dragging their feet. We must work to stop poisoning our planet and ourselves in the process. Yes, Joni Mitchell was right. I don't mind the spots on my apples, leave me the birds and the bees, please. We don't always seem to know what we've got till it's gone. We paved paradise and put up a parking lot. But as Rosh HaShanah teaches, it is not too late to change. As a small example, the Rabbinical Assembly's Social Justice Commission has assembled a movement-wide environmental roundtable with every branch of the movement represented to work on greening our institutions, lobbying our elected officials, and guiding and helping each of us make sacred environmental choices in our everyday lives. It is a small step, but we begin now. This is Rosh HaShanah, the new year, and we're beginning a brand new Shemitah year. May it be with a renewed commitment to cherish this amazing world God has given us. We are indeed so incredibly lucky and blessed to be alive and on this amazing planet. Let's change our ways so we can leave for the next generation a world full of wonder and life. The time to change is now. May God give us the strength, vision, and wisdom to make the necessary changes in our behavior, not only as Jews, but as a whole world. That together we recognize this precious gift and do everything in our power to preserve it. L'Shana Tova, a happy new year.